Okay, I want to apologize ahead of time. This video is going to probably be longer than my normal ones are, but there's a lot to cover here, and we're going to do some reviewing, and hopefully we can clarify a lot of things that are being asked of me and people are accusing me of. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go right back to the very beginning. On the 1st of November, 7 days prior to the election, when everybody thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win and the person who would be challenging the results and not accepting the results would be Donald Trump, I made this video and I made this allegation. Election results ignored. Faithless electors robbed Trump December 19th. Choose president January 7th. Now, if you can go and you can find a video anywhere on YouTube prior to the 1st of November that deals with this exact subject, with these two people, with Trump winning and the Democrats doing this, by all means, please share with me the link. There are some videos out there I know of that talk about the Electoral College and faithless electors in general, but specifically, the only one I've seen that's even close to it is a man named Chandler Dean, and he's not very specific in his allegations, but he does talk about this election, but at the end, it looks like he's alleging that it's actually going to be Hillary Clinton win and Donald Trump doing the challenging. So he only put his out 1 day before me. He put his out on Halloween. So the reason I'm ranting about that is because it is so hilarious that I have people on different videos now accusing me of accusing me of being this right-wing hack that hates Hillary Clinton, and I have another one accusing me of being this left-wing nut. In fact, a lot of people think I'm this left-wing nut because I've said some things that don't agree with our dear leader Donald Trump's view of the world, and of course that makes me automatically a libtard or some other horrible name. And it's just insane because people are wearing these binary glasses and they cannot even conceive of a world where the choices aren't either red or blue. So it's just nuts. I'm going to play a quick clip from this I have it sped up. We'll go through it real quick, just so you can hear in my own words what I said would happen a week before the election. This year we have seen something happen that hasn't happened in any other year, and I think it's going to cause a great deal of confusion and problems coming up in the next couple months. Everybody is pointing to this November 7th election, the popular vote. I don't think that's going to have anything to do with who our next president is. We have something called the Electoral College, and I know everybody is very familiar with that, but what people may not realize is that, for example, in Florida, we have 29 electors that are set by the Republicans, 29 different electors that are set by the Democrats, 29 for the Green Party, 29 for the Libertarian Party. Whoever wins the plurality of the vote in Florida, that particular person's electors go vote on December 9th in the Electoral College. Now, while this may or may not happen in Florida, those electors are not bound by law to vote for Mr. Trump. The Republican electors are not. The Democrat ones are not bound to vote for Ms. Clinton. Now, people might say, well, yeah, but why wouldn't they? Okay, so that covers that point real quick. Now, almost immediately, I started getting attacked saying, no, there's faithless elector laws, they have to do it. It's automatic, they're just going to rubber stamp, it's just not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then, 10 days later, 11 days later, after enough of that garbage, I make another video. Okay, and I explain the role of the Electoral College and why it's not a rubber stamp. And here's that quick clip. While, yes, there are laws in certain states that do deter electors from changing their votes, they don't literally change those votes if the person decides to not follow the will of the people. It was the very reason why the Electoral College was put into place. The main reason, which most every pundit loves to tell folks, is that so the big states and the little states have equal representation. That was only part of the reason. If that had been the only reason, all the states would do every 4 years would be count up their popular vote, see who won, and then the governor would then submit their electoral votes into the tabulation session on the 7th. The reason that you elect a slate of electors is because the Founding Fathers wanted actual human being people to make that ultimate final decision, so that a person who was really, really good at swaying the masses wouldn't be able to just by force of personality take control of the nation. Okay, so there's me on the 12th trying to explain what the Electoral College's role is. And yet the comments and the derogatory names all kept rolling in, telling me I didn't know what I was talking about and how I was an idiot and how this is fake news. Then, here we go, the 28th of November. Okay, my video was published on the 3rd, but this video came out on the 3rd. Here's Brett Schifalo, an actual elector, somebody who would know, saying pretty much exactly what I just said.
Something went wrong. This emergency brake is the Electoral College. You may think that the Electoral College is supposed to rubber stamp the winner of the election. That is not the case. In fact, that is the opposite of what the founders intended. They intended for us to subject the winner of the election to exhaustive scrutiny, and if the candidate does not meet our standards, we are expected to elect an alternative. They were worried about the kind of demagogue who had taken control in so many other countries. So the Electoral College was charged with making sure that the president met 3 important criteria. First, they wanted to make sure that the voters elected a qualified person. Second, they wanted to prevent the election of a charismatic autocrat. Third, the Founding Fathers feared that a president could be elected who was under the influence of foreign powers.
Okay, so there is 28 days, the 20th of November, which was 16 days later, an actual elector confirming then what I said. So at every stage, I have made a statement, and everybody comes out and says I'm wrong. There's also people out there, and this is the most hilarious part. I just cannot believe this. I have one video where someone is accusing me of being this right-wing Republican because I attacked Hillary Clinton, or I questioned her health, or I said that she wouldn't be a good candidate. And then I have on other videos people saying that I'm some libtard or some other derogatory name for a liberal, that because I have had the audacity to attack Mr. Trump and question his veracity and question his what's really going on with the guy, because he's switched parties so many times and said so many different things that argue with each other. So I have people that just think they have these binary glasses on. If you say anything negative about the person they support, they think that you're automatically for the opposition. It's just the most insane thing I have ever seen, and I mean that. It's insane. It's a mental illness, people. That if you hear just something or see something on the internet that maybe doesn't paint Donald Trump in the best light, then you automatically think they're a liberal, and vice versa. I mean, folks, turn off CNN, turn off Fox News, turn off Alex Jones, turn off Rush Limbaugh, turn off Media Matters, turn off all these people. Those people are in this for money. They are paid to have an opinion. These videos are monetized, but on 20,000 views, I haven't earned a dime. I didn't put this out here to make money. I'm not a YouTuber. And I have people that love to say, you make terrible videos and, your quality is horrible. Fine, wonderful, fantastic. I don't make them for you. Okay, I'm not in the service of my viewers, and I'm sorry if that sounds selfish, but the first video I put up was just putting out a prediction. I didn't realize I was going to get this kind of a following or an audience, or people were going to take my videos and embed them in other articles. I just happen to be right. I'm not a savant. I'm not a seer. I'm not a time traveler. All I did was not take what pundits told me to think and then base my opinions on that. I looked at the actual facts for myself and came to an independent conclusion based on experience. And that's a very, very foreign thing for some people. I had one guy continue saying, cite your sources, cite your sources, cite your sources, because he really thought that I was acting from some other place. He thought that I was trying to push an agenda for one side or the other, and that everything I was doing, I was just spitting back out, and he could not conceive of the fact that this could be independent thought. Now, I'll say it again. I may be wrong, I may be right, but I was right on the first. I nailed that. And then when I made all the allegations of what the Electoral College was and what they would do, there were sites on here that have 250,000 followers, 500,000 followers, these experts supposedly on politics that were putting out just blatantly false information about what the Electoral College's role was. They were just totally uninformed. They really honestly thought on November 7th, when Megyn Kelly or whoever they were watching decided to award votes to, a particular candidate based on the results of the popular vote, that those votes were actually being awarded at that moment. It's just the most insane thing. And I've alleged this for a long time, that the media has more of an agenda in politics than even the politicians do. Sorry about the rant, folks, but it's just insane. If you go into the comments section of any of my videos, you will see some of the most brutal, horrible things being said about a guy who just has an opinion and is perfectly okay with being right or wrong about it. But he's not making it up, and he's not trying to get one person or the other. I mean, I have an issue with Donald Trump, and I'm going to actually show you why here in about a minute in a different part of the house. Why he is different than any other politician, because he is in fact not a politician. So without any further ado, I'm going to go over there to this part of the house where I have this set up, and hopefully I can illustrate my line of thinking for you. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. Now I know this is kind of, amateur, but like I said, not a professional video maker. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do the best I can to illustrate an idea. We're going to, I think everybody's pretty much ahead of me on what's going to happen here. We're going to use this to represent the Green Party, this to represent the Democrats, this to represent the Republicans, this to represent the Libertarians, and we'll call this the Trump supporters or the alt-right. Now, how things normally happen is this. We have normally had these four parties, and we'll call this big bucket up here the American people. And we'll say this is their leaders and, the people from their party, and we'll call this, their candidate for president. So everybody puts one out, and they all have their idea about the direction that they think that the country should go. Okay? The Republicans have one, the Democrats have one, the Greens have one, the Libertarians have one. Now, let's go pull an American out here, and let's say that they're this person right here, and I apologize for the glare on the stove, I just don't have a better place to do this. And they're looking at all of their options, they're looking at their four options, and let's say this person here is just a, he's a small government person, but he's not really so much liking the Christian arm of the Republicans. So he may have some things where he agrees with this person, and agrees with this person, and in the election he's like, what should I do, what should I do? Well, the media would like you to believe that you either vote here, or you vote here, or you are irrelevant. Okay, and that's what they do. Okay, and that's what everybody says. If you vote for third party, you're just making your vote not count. Now, let me say something real quick here. In the Senate and in the House, on every single piece of legislation put before them, every member has the right to what is called an abstention. That means that they don't have, an abstention means literally to abstain. That means they don't have to vote on something if they don't feel like it is a relevant piece of legislation. Okay? Now there's also this term called quorum. What that means is you have to have a certain amount of people present to vote on something, or it isn't even considered. Now in our country, in the House and in the Senate, that's usually 50% or 2/3 depending on the piece of legislation. In our country, we barely have a quorum. We barely do, because only about half of the people in America vote. Our elections are almost irrelevant. They really are. Because you only have a smaller, the part of America that's so disgusted with the system right now is getting larger and larger and larger by the day. And it's because of these two parties right here. Because they have decided they wanted to exclude and bully the other two out and use their willing accomplices in the media to make them irrelevant. So, but let's say this person decides that they are, I'm just going to vote Democrat. Okay? Now, the Republicans don't believe that makes this person evil. The they don't think that that person is evil. These people have what they believe in, and, they want to win in the arena of ideas. They want to say, our idea is the best. We want to convince most Americans that the vision we see for the country is better than the other people. But we respect these other people to have those other beliefs and to put them up on the stage. In fact, we would prefer it so that our ideas can be contrasted with other ideas. Okay? And it's not about a person, it's about an idea. The Democrats have an idea. The Green people have an idea. The Republicans have an idea. The Libertarians have an idea. And they try to put a person up that represents that idea. Okay? Now, here is why these people are different. Okay? Instead of just saying they have an idea and putting a guy up with that idea, and letting him stand up on stage with the other 5 candidates and letting the American people choose. Here's what they did, is they're like, let's see here. This party's been in power for a while, and so people are wanting change, so we know that the media is going to make them irrelevant, and it's going to make them irrelevant. So let's see, here's what we need to do. We need to infiltrate this party over here like this, and then we're going to put this guy up and we're going to pretend he's actually an R. Okay, so now the libertarians saw this and they're like, no, we want nothing to do with that, because Mr. Trump's ideas and libertarian ideas are about as antithetical as you get. And some Republicans said, you know what, we're out of here, sorry. No, these people are idiots. We don't like it. Same thing that they went over here, and that happened as well. Now, these people in orange thought that they now represented all of the red idea. Okay, they got a red tag put on this guy, and now the media, having put forth this thing for so long, okay, had these 2 choices put out there. Now, these people over here were horrified. But they thought, with all of these people that were disillusioned, this guy is going to get none of these people. He for sure isn't going to get any of these people. So if we can pull some of these people over to our side, because that guy is nuts. And I'm sorry, I know that sounds horrible, but if you look into this man's history, some of the things he's done are just mind-boggling. So they really thought for sure that no matter what they did, they were going to be able to pull people in. Heck, they even thought maybe they'd get a few of these libertarian folks over here. And that's why they thought they were going to win. But they didn't. They didn't do it. Because this guy had pretty much a pass amongst his supporters, because this is what they did. This was the strategy they employed. The strategy was this: you were either orange or you were evil. That was it. Okay, there wasn't no arena of ideas. There wasn't no, okay, we understand that, that maybe you don't want to vote for Mr. Trump, but we respect your, desire to support the Democrat Party. No, what happened was, if you just said, I'm going to, go vote for Miss Clinton, then what you were is you were pro-pedophile, you were the Pizzagate nonsense, you were a pro-baby murderer, and everything else, then you were just pretty much the most evil, despicable person on the face of the planet, and you deserve to be killed, and that's how they did it. That's pretty much what they did, and so the Republicans kept bleeding out of this party, because they're like, you know what, we just cannot continue to support this guy. We just can't do it, because their supporters are pretty much Nazis. Because they're not talking about an idea, they're talking about a man. They elected a guy. They did not elect an idea. He says he's a Republican, but you can look at his policies and look at what he does, and it has nothing to do with conservatism. Nothing at all. It's all about saying, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm not this. He has no ideas of his own. All he has is a cult of personality. And these have been the most dangerous types of leaders all throughout history. Before this, we had a system where people would get heated and animated in their differences, but they still, at the end of the day, even Barack Obama said in the speech I put in another video, he's like, I have Republican friends that don't act like Donald Trump does. He said, I ran against Mitt Romney and John McCain, but I didn't believe that the Republic was at risk if they were elected, meaning that if this guy is, it is. And you people here that support Donald Trump who think that you are now Republican values people, what about the 14 other actual Republicans, elected Republicans, people who'd been Republicans for 10, 15, 20 years, when they were all unanimous saying that this guy was dangerous and unqualified? Why did their words not mean anything to you? You know why they didn't mean anything to you? Because it was cult of personality. What you were doing is you were going on how this guy made you feel, not by how he made you think. Whenever they would attack him, they would attack your feelings. And when you do that with people that are emotionally invested in a man, this is what happened with Hitler, this is what happened with Napoleon. This is a very, very, very dangerous man. And this is why the Electoral College is in play now, and not in any other election. You wouldn't have been able to do this with George Bush. You know, the Republicans couldn't have done this with Bill Clinton. You know, we're actually going to cover that election here in a minute, but I hope the M&M thing tried to explain this. I know it wasn't exact. You know, it's more complicated than this, but that's basically the breakdown of what happened this year. Now, one more thing over at the computer, and I will wrap this up. I know it's a long video, and I'm sorry. Okay. This is a map of the 1992 election results. Now, I know this is a long time, but I find it relevant. And you can look at these numbers for yourself. If any of you don't know who Ross Perot is, he was a billionaire oil man from Texas who ran to the right of George Bush Sr. Now, if you look at these numbers, 58, almost 59 million people voted for either a conservative Republican or an ultra-conservative independent. And only 44 million people voted for Bill Clinton. Now, I want to show you closely the states that Bill Clinton carried. He carried Montana, he carried Georgia, Louisiana, Arkansas, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee. So, here's the thing. A lot of folks I've seen down in the comments have loved to label what they call red state people. Okay, and red state attitudes. Okay, in 92, some of these states that you would call quintessential red states weren't. Why? Now, people don't change. It's not like there were a bunch of liberal Democrats living in Montana, you know, in 1992, and in the last, 24 years, the populace has changed. They're the same people. They're the same people. Bill Clinton ran as a very, very conservative Democrat. So, in this election, this was a referendum on conservatism. This wasn't a referendum on liberalism. After 8 years of Reagan and 4 years of George Bush Sr., people wanted more of what they saw. But it was just a quirk in the election that actually handed the presidency over to the Democratic Party. And I know a lot of people probably on my videos aren't even old enough to remember what the 90s were like or what was going on, but Bill Clinton loves to talk about this thing where he bombed an aspirin factory trying to kill bin Laden, and he did. He absolutely did. He launched a cruise missile into an aspirin factory because he thought he could kill bin Laden. Okay, I mean, that's like he was the original drone guy, you know, just with a different piece of technology where he tried to kill somebody. The man was not anything like his wife runs now, and he's nothing like what the Democratic Party has become. But this Bill Clinton is supposedly, this demigod for the Democrats, who actually didn't win the popular vote. He won the plurality. He won more than any other one candidate, but Bush, Perot, and Maru were all way more conservative than he was. And that's very clear in those numbers. So, I'm sorry this is a 23-minute video. There were some other things I wanted to cover about, the Community Reinvestment Act and ninja loans and why that brought us to this point, but I'm not going to go down that road. So, whatever you think of me, whatever you think of my motivations, I guess I can't control that, but try turning off the news, try turning off. You'll never see me in any of my videos link to or show a video of Sean Hannity talking about his opinion, or Rush Limbaugh talking about his, or any of the people from CNN or the guy from GQ, whoever, because those are just opinions, and they're paid opinions. I'm going to look at the facts in their face and what I know from my experience, and then make a judgment based on that. And if a lot of us did that more, instead of just, spitting out talking points that we see on, the media, we would be in a lot better shape. So, sorry, 24 minutes, 20 seconds, too long. But anyway, more videos to come. God bless and thanks again.